Welcome to this very special broadcast. I'm your host, Eric Johnson, or EJ the DJ. And coming up is the Shickley Longhorn Days. And speaking of the entertainment there, we have with us DJ Bridwell, and his band will be joining the Shickley crowd there this coming weekend. DJ, appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for joining me and giving a few minutes of your time.
Hey, thank you so much for having me, man. Appreciate it.
Hey, it's an honor. How's everything going? I know you had a little family trip. Everything went well, I take it.
Oh yeah, I went down to Destin, Florida, and played a show down there, and then had to hightail it back, and had two of them this Friday and Saturday in Nebraska. So, and the week before that, I was in Wyoming. So I've been moving around a little bit.
Well, you've been traveling pretty far. How's it been the reception for you outside of the great state of Nebraska?
Uh, Perfectly fine. One thing that's happened since we joined forces with Third and James Records back in August of 2020 is that my audience has gotten a lot broader. So, typically when we go out of town and stuff like that, years ago it was a smaller crowd, but the access, and I think even like just the internet, social media groups such as TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, your reach is so much farther. So, um, that was why I was able to land the show in Destin, Florida. I mean, it's nice. The reception's good.
It's good to kind of take the family out there too while you get a chance to go out in those neck of the woods, huh?
Absolutely. And we
Yeah.
just had a couple friends with us, and yeah, spent a lot of time shoulder deep in ocean water.
Ah, I'm super jealous. But of course, you thrive in this at this time of the year, and I can't imagine the funnel cakes and the barbecue are not out of reach for you. I would say because you've been traveling to all the fairs and festivals all across the great state, and then some. How's it been your scheduling wise this year? Has it been pretty strong?
Yeah, I would say honestly, it's probably as far as show numbers, it's maybe been a little bit declined from years previous, but there's multiple reasons behind that. Um, some of it is per choice, and and a lot of it has to do with trying to spread. Other than we all love the great state of Nebraska, but unfortunately, we have to move out of that area if we want to be seen on a bigger picture and a bigger scale. So we've been trying to strategically do that throughout the last, well, even the last 5 years. So it's just steps towards that.
Yeah. I with everything going on in the world, it's kind of difficult to just kind of uproot and kind of move along. So you got to kind of have to, puzzle piece your way through. And at least, we don't have to worry about with shows and stuff like that. You mean you've been all over everywhere, and of course you're going to come into Shickley this coming Saturday, and
Yeah.
no stranger to this neck of the woods as well. And I kind of wanted to talk to you a little bit. Second generation. Tell me about growing up. Right in the heart of right in the heart of Central Nebraska here. Growing up, finding your niche in music. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah. So it's kind of a funny story, and I've told this a few times over the years, but so my parents both played in a band. It was a popular band around here, around locally, known as Whiskey River. And I had grew up kind of in that scene, going to shows and stuff and running around like a chicken with my head cut off on the dance floor, thinking I know what I'm doing or something. But ultimately, it kind of, from as I was growing up, it it was kind of a semi bad experience for me a little bit because it seemed like when they would go out on shows, more often than not they were booked every weekend, similar to where I'm at. And I, I was always, nine times out of ten I was still at home, and so I didn't really want any part of being a musician when I grew up. It never really interested me. I love music, but it wasn't the kind of love that would have got me into the music scene. And then I had a buddy that I grew up with that he was extremely good at guitar, and I'm sure still is to this day. And we had a couple other friends that always played music, and so then I started picking up drums. My brother's actually a drummer too, and he gave me my first set, and I joined a for a short time, we'll call it a quote unquote Pearl Jam tribute band. And it wasn't necessarily, we didn't do it as far as playing shows. It was just like we practiced all the time and never did anything. And so as that kind of dismantled, a couple years later, maybe not even a couple years, maybe a year later, something like that, I picked up a bass guitar and I joined forces with a group of guys that I still pretty much keep in contact with still to this day. And we started a heavy metal band at that point. And then after that, everybody had kind of, again, dismembered and dismantled. And then I used to just fiddle around on acoustic guitar. And I went through a breakup one time and I sat down and wrote a song. And yeah, it was a couple years after that where I was like, all right, well, I'm starting to learn all these songs and I'm posting things on YouTube and Facebook. And I'd never even given the thought of playing a live show or doing anything. And a lady from my hometown had reached out and was like, hey, how much would you charge? And I don't know, beer. Like, I didn't know.
I mean, it's always good payment.
Yeah, right. So I guess the rest is kind of history. So we celebrate this will actually be August 4th, 2012 will be 10 years of the DJ Bridwell band. So
wow.
Yeah.
Wow, and you speak about the heavy metal time in your life there. I tried to find some you've been synonymous with sporting the short hair. I've been trying to find some long hair pictures of you, and it's been kind of few and far in between. So
I might have a little bit on top, but I've never ever actually, believe it or not, had long hair.
Really?
There's some photos that exist of me out there that it's kind of funny. I don't remember what I had. I don't remember if I was wearing a hat. Oh no, I was wearing a beanie in the picture, and I got black cargo baggy pants on and a Lucky 13 shirt, and I used to wear sweatbands up here and stuff. No beard, of course.
Sporting, what the
heck? Yeah. Pretty much clean shaven back then.
Oh man, and I know your time's precious. I've always wanted to kind of pick your brain about your going in, coming through in with the music life and whatnot. Yeah. And, that was the one thing I did notice about with both mom and dad. Did you kind of take some resemblance from one side or the other? Or you just kind of when you said, I don't want to deal with that, did you just kind of made your own path? Or?
Yeah. I mean, mom at that time when I started kind of playing, she hadn't played in years.
Yeah.
I'm sure she probably could, but I was one of those rebellious kids, and we played two different styles of music. So ultimately, when I was looking at the metal band, and she was a bass player, and that was when I was playing bass guitar. So yeah, I'm certain that there was a few things that I learned along the way through chord progressions or anything like that. Matter of fact, when I first joined in that band, I was playing her bass guitar and on one of her bass amps. So. In the metal side of it, yes. As far as they were a country band through and through.
Yeah.
As far as my dad goes, we ended up playing. We've played a few shows together over the years, but before the band actually existed, I had set up. Basically, he was just trying to get me over the nervousness of being behind a microphone, and I was absolutely horrible. Like, I'd get behind there, and the microphone would be a foot out from my face, and I'm trying to sing into it, and they kept telling me, get on the microphone. But it was, get to sit down with like it'd be three other people, two of my dad's good friends at the time. And we played a couple hours show. But that was one of my first, if not my first time, I think it might have been my first time I'd ever been on a stage playing my own thing. So
I've caught you, at Kearney, of course, but also down at Thayer County. You could not tell. I mean, you kind of got the gift of gab, and it's just like it's second nature to you. So I can't imagine you being nervous around the microphone like that.
There's two really interesting facts that not many people I've ever really told, unless that I know them personally. But I've had horrible stage fright and crowd anxiety. Like, you won't catch me in a Walmart on a Sunday. But there's something about there's something about this, the elevation of the stage for one, that helps with the crowd anxiety a little bit. And then two, this sounds insane, but over the years, I've almost created this, I just tell my girlfriend, the alter ego a little bit, to when those boots go on and the cuffs go on and the sleeveless shirt goes on, and it's I become almost a little bit different of a person. I talk different. I have a little bit more draw to my voice. It's deeper than my normal everyday walk into Casey's customer service voice or something like that, you know. So.
Yeah, it's kind of like with me. I'm about in similar ways, kind of sweaty palms in the situation. But every time my wife's in the crowd or something like that, or she's with me, I always got to look at her going, all right, did I sound like an idiot, or did I have my head up my rear, or whatever
Yeah.
it was, So I always get paranoid too sometimes when I first got started. So
it's crazy. It's transition. A lot of people that I've told that, they're like, no way, there's no way. And I mean, my drummer would be right there to tell you, like, there was days where, well, there was not days. There was a whole year period, maybe a year and a half, to where before every single show, I would have to take an hour to myself before the show started and get in this mindset, which usually ended with me vomiting behind the trailer somewhere.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, eventually, it wasn't that I've ever got over it, because crowds still bother me to an extent, and it just depends which hat I had on, or, have on that day, I guess. If it's and I say that as in terms of DJ Bridwell, the family man, or DJ Bridwell, the performer.
Yeah. Oh yeah. My wife laughs at me. She goes, and I tell her this to this day, and it sounds weird, but every time the recording light comes on, my mind goes blank. So I'm like, just talking the way out of a paper bag, and it's the safest thing to even think about, because it works wonders,
We do this,
but
the same thing. We fight the same thing when we go up on stage. There's a
yeah.
lot of times where singing a song that I wrote, or singing even a cover song that we played forever and ever. I kind of laughed at our guitar player Corey this last week, because he was telling me, well, it just doesn't sound right. I need to practice it more. And I'm like, no, dude, you sound so good. And then what he said meant a lot to me. It was after that, he goes, no, I need to play it so it's a part of muscle memory, and not just like I have to think about it. And there's a lot to be said. When I sing a song, a lot of times I very rarely think about what lyrics are there. They just come out. And I spend most of my time on stage, worrying about where I need to be, and where what the crowds, how they're responding, and what I can do to amp that up to the next level.
Yeah.
During the shows.
Reading the audience. Yeah.
Right.
Wow. DJ Bridwell joining me here. We're talking, we're kind of skimming the surface. I hope we can ever talk again a little bit more in depth in the future, but he's coming to our neck of the woods, Shickley Longhorn Days, coming up this Saturday. Make sure and head on out. Main Street's going to be bumping. Speaking of our path down through Fillmore County, I want to touch base a little bit about your relationship with Lazy Horse and your collaboration, Jim and Julie, and tell us a little bit about that, how you guys came about.
So I got goosebumps when you talk about it, because this is always like a really special moment for me. And that is, I didn't know Jim and Julie up until last year, and I had a mutual friend that introduced us, based off of a discussion with that mutual friend as far as what I wanted to do and what the possibilities of getting that done. And I had a meeting with Jim and Julie, and then Steve Hogan was also there, I believe the following time, when we decided what foundation that we were going to go towards. But it is it's an honor to have my name on a can. That's one thing, right? That's a really cool deal that I get to hold on to, for the rest of my life. But beyond that, and way more important, is the cause that it's going to. And during the first year, we knew we were doing the right thing, but day by day, when you're getting beer sales, or when you're selling shirts, or when you're selling the mugs that we change every year, or the Pilsner glasses,
Mm-hmm.
you don't really realize how much day by day that you're doing. It's that end of the year figure. And last year we raised over $4,000 for the or Hunter HD Hogan Foundation, and this year we're already approaching that. And my personal goal, this hasn't been talked about anywhere else, was to sell well over $10,000 this year, or to raise over $10,000 is a better way to put it. So with that, we introduced the line of shirts, or our HDPS line is what we call it, which is honor, defend, protect, and support. Um, the whole situation, the whole relationship with those guys has been extremely cool. Lazy Horse is an amazing place to go eat, to go drink.
Yeah.
They are, if you've ever been inside the restaurant, Jim doesn't leave a person in there that hasn't talked to him ever. If he's in there, he's making his rounds at the table and make sure that all of his customers are taken care of. And
he's a great family too. I mean, they're very loyal and supportive to all the communities.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And yeah, over the course of a year, he'll shoot me for saying this because he loves Luke Bryan and I don't. We became family, and agree to disagree, whatever, Jim, because I know when you're watching this, you're probably gonna puke in your mouth a little bit. But
Jim, you just get away.
just take it. And the same thing with everybody from the Hunter HD Hogan Foundations. Steve, first and foremost, has been right there with us, been extremely supportive. If Jim and I put on that event at Ohio earlier this year, and Steve had his whole crew over there with all their merch booths and stuff set up, and he went up and emceed the event for us as well. And it's just the whole thing. I hope it never ends. It's a really cool deal on whatever scale, and I hope it only gets bigger and better through the course of the time. So.
And it's an incredible story, Steve, and of course we talk more pertaining to the life of his boy and what he did for our country. And
Absolutely.
If you guys ever get a chance, you the listening audience, please make sure and check out Hunter HD Hogan. They've done everything from rodeos to golf events to I don't know, whatever it is, to try to raise the money the right way, and to show respect for those who have fought valiantly just for our freedoms. And it's just outstanding, and his boys right with him. So
one of the biggest things that I think that the world seems to forget about is why we're allowed to do the things that we do. I've never served, but I've always given back towards those who did in some way, shape, or form. I feel like, and this is my personal opinion, maybe unpopular or not, but I don't feel like our government does the best at taking care of our veterans. In fact, I believe 100% the opposite. And I know that our $4,000 contribution to one foundation doesn't take care of a bunch of veterans in need, but it's our way of trying to use our smaller pedestal of what it is, to try to raise money for a great cause and giving back to, in particular, our sales go back pretty much solely focused on Gold Star families. I'll say Gold Star kids, taking them on turkey hunts and deer hunts, elk hunts, hog hunts, all that different kind of stuff. And it's amazing to see some of the pictures, the stories that they put together, the stories that they tell, and to know that we're a contributing part to that. That's awesome.
And you and Jim and all them, you guys still have shirts and whatnot available if anybody wants to take part in that as well, correct?
Absolutely. So we have 2 or 3 different kinds of HDPS shirts ourselves, different color wise, and then Jim and Julie there at Lazy Horse have a different design, but still with all 3 of our logos on the back and promoting all 3 businesses, or all three places, and ultimately, which is kind of funny because it's really not what it's even about anymore. It has become, even that HDPS, the line is it means a lot more to us, I think, than it does having even just our logos on the back of the shirt. So,
and that's
glasses,
just it.
We have cases and cases of glasses too.
Yeah, and when I first seen it, and you had that beer, I think that's every guy's dream of having their own beer, but you doing so much more. Just preaching the good word and being that one that can speak up and try to help. And kudos to you and Jim and Julie as well. I mean, those guys over there as well. You guys have all done excellent work, and I think you just scratched the surface, like you said.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we were at an event this last week in Kearney for the cruise night, and shout out to the Cup and Kearney for putting it together. But they had Wheels for Warriors there. They brought in 25 cases of our beer and had it at the top of their list of things on the beer list, and promoted it with a big ginormous sign and everything else. Yes, they still had other drinks, but that, it was cool to see how they were prioritizing that. Wheels for Warriors was there and gave away a custom Harley Davidson to a veteran, which was completely awesome to be a part of that. And it's nice to see how people will reach out to that, to us to join them and promote these events. And I love being a part of it. Honestly, I would fill my schedule up with every single one of those, if possible. It's awesome.
And it's we speak about our fallen veterans and whatnot. Here's Ultimate Sacrifice. Shickley, getting back to it, Shickley has done their memorial wall. Have you got a chance to go out there and see their new memorial wall out there right across from the community center?
I have not. The only memorial wall that I have been a part of in the last year was the one that traveling memorial wall that they bring, like to the HD Hogan golf tournament and other events, of course. But I have not seen the one in Shickley. I'm excited to see that.
It's
3 days away.
It's well done. I mean, the community of Shickley had done wonders. Hogan is represented on there as well, loud and proud, and of course, many area veterans. And you're going to be out there as well. Are you going to be able to come out and kind of enjoy the day, or how's the schedule looking like for you for Saturday for Longhorn Days?
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure as what time we'll roll in there. I'm definitely going to enjoy my day irregardless. As far as partaking in the events, just making sure that we're over there getting set up and everything on time. Outside of that, I'll be around. I'm definitely going to enjoy my day, and I'm sure that guy that we mentioned earlier, Jim, will be over there trying to pick on me and get me to play a Luke Bryan song or something.
I was one of those deals. I was actually thinking about it too, because I'm going to be playing music for the car show. So I was like, maybe the 1-2 whammy that'll get them excited.
Yeah, there you go.
So you're coming into town, Shickley Longhorn Days. Talk to us about, and I don't know how, if anybody hasn't been to any one of your concerts, because it's weird because everybody's seen you, everybody's heard you, you've been all over the area. But tell us, what kind of music are we looking at? Some of the classics? Are we looking at some of your newer stuff like Whiskey Went Go, Over When You're Sober? What are we looking at for a show on Saturday night?
Oh yeah, we'll definitely be playing. We play through the majority of we play through all of our originals that are released basically, and a lot that are not. We do have our covers in there. The covers we kind of do our own way. It's a little bit different. If you've been to one of our shows, you know exactly what I'm talking about when I say that. Mm-hmm. It's not that they're not that we were changing anything other than just trying to make it something that DJ Bridwell would sing. And we have actually Jordan Shook is one of our buddies. Shuck. Sorry, Jordan. Jordan's going to be down. Jordan's going to be down starting the show off for us too. And he's an up and comer. And this dude just went out and recorded with Third and James, which is where we're signed with out in Denver, and just released his first EP from what he had done out there. All the songs are amazing. The kid is one heck of a songwriter. So I'm excited to see where he goes, and I'm excited to actually have him along one of 2 times this summer. I haven't seen him in a while. I think the last time was when I beat him in a golf tournament last year. So I'm just kidding. He was actually on my team.
An avid golfer. See, I don't know. Your definition of golf and mine are 2 different things. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, cool, man. So excited to see you come out to Shickley. I know I'm excited as well. I quickly dismantle and come enjoy your show later on in the evening. But what time are you starting? What time's the opening act? What time are you getting on stage Saturday night?
You know what? I just looked this up a little while ago, and I think it is. I think it's 9:00 is when Jordan will start, and then we'll go on within an hour after that, about around that 10:15 time frame, and then we'll play until midnight. we'll have the merch booth set up out there too if you guys want to stop by, and if you guys want to say hi or anything like that, don't forget to follow our Facebook page too. Keep up with some of the other upcoming events that we have around the area. We've got some really, really big events within a 65 to 70 mile radius, basically, of the area that we're speaking of now. So a lot of cool things happening.
He's everywhere, ladies and gentlemen. Find him on Facebook, online, probably on Instagram. You want to support the military and their collab between Lazy Horse and DJ Bridwell. Talk to Jim and Julie over there at Lazy Horse Brewery as well. They'll hook you up. Man,
you can find our beer. You can find our beer about anywhere within a.
I was gonna say, I was just thinking about it. It's like it's kind of waved outward now at this point, hasn't
It
it?
has. I know that there's like 5 or 6 different places in Kearney that have it. Of course, the Superior Liquor Store has it. Superior Bull down here has it. Hebron Liquor Store has it. Aurora, they call it the Aurora Mall or something like that, but it's like the gas station. Grand Island, that new liquor store that they opened up, that ginormous one up there, has it. So, and of course, Lazy Horse, and if you're that close, so stop by and pick a case of it. Yeah, other than that, lots of exciting things happen the rest of the summer. We've got another song coming out before the end. We just, of course, released our EP. We didn't have any lead singles off the back half of that we released, but Barstooler Whiskey, ironically, just charted in Australia. So it charted on iTunes down there at like 61 or 69, something like that. So that was a pretty cool accomplishment. I know it's Australia, but it's a big deal.
Hey, slow and steady, and of course, you've won accolades even down in Florida. In fact, if I remember correctly, everywhere. It's the good word of DJ Bridwell. I can't even say much. I mean, you got a beer, for crying out loud. I'm super jealous.
I forgot about this too. We actually had our own cologne last year too for a while. I still got a few bottles left, but I don't bring it out. I just keep a hold of them. But there you go. So yeah, come see us in Shickley. Longhorn Days this Saturday the 23rd. I'm excited.
DJ, appreciate it. Thank you. Hopefully we can talk again a little bit more in depth, but can't wait to see you in person this Saturday night, man.
Absolutely. Let's have a drink. I'm about to go add something to this. So
well, with that being said, thank you guys for listening. Of course, make sure and follow DJ on Facebook, online, Instagram. Find out what you can do to support our fallen veterans by locating his Facebook page or the Lazy Horse Brewery Facebook page, or just see Jim and Julie in person. DJ, myself, Eric Johnson, EJ the DJ, or DJ the EJ, whatever you want to say it.
However you want to do it.
That's right. Saying so long for now.